What is this, live? Yeah. Billy's outside the so-called Royal Courts of Justice. We're just off of Aldwych, the City of London, and Bill's wanting to talk about how there is a failure in the so-called judiciary of family court service for the family, and how the system clearly fails family. Children are being prolonged in the system. The longer they're in, the easier it is for the actual departments to side with one another and to prolong those children permanently in care, rather than work to the children being able to rehabilitate back home with their families. Go ahead, Bill.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On this lovely street today, we're outside the Royal Courts of Justice. We're out here for a reason. That's because there is no justice within the family courts. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story, why I'm out here today. I started looking into Facebook groups after I come into contact with social services myself. And basically I couldn't believe the lies that they wrote in reports about myself. And I started to wonder. I wondered, how many other parents is this happening to? How many other parents are saying the same thing as me? So then I had a little look around on Facebook groups after someone telling me there's support groups for people like myself. And then I started to find out many other parents have had lies told against them to remove their children as well. And I still couldn't get my head around it. All it done is fuel the fire to make me to why I'm here today, standing outside this Royal Courts of Justice, same as I was outside the family court. Right, the fire was fueled. They lit their flame, and that's why I'm here. Because to be honest with you, the only court I've noticed that lies can go on in the court and be known by judges and by the solicitors and social workers are telling the lies, and the professionals acting for the social services. By professionals, I'm talking about child psychologists. Some of them are not regulated as well that they're using. They're not even, when I say not regulated, they haven't signed up to the bar
not
that
registered.
year. Right? So basically, they're allowed to tell as many lies as they want, right, in the court. And the court is actually called the secret family court. It's a court of secrets. The reason it's secrets because they don't want the lies to come out. But we're out here today because we want to raise the awareness of what these guys are doing to us on a daily basis, to many other parents in the UK, right? How many of you guys are parents in this street? You go home to your children of a night time, you look at your precious child and you think, you know what, I don't want nothing to happen to my child. There's many of us guys that have come into contact with social services. Some of us have asked for help, some of us might have had learning difficulties, some of us have had all different reasons for these guys to come into our life, right? You know, a lot of the time they're removing our children for a future risk of emotional harm. And that's like saying, don't get in that taxi, he's going to crash down the road, you're going to die. That's not right, you know that's not right. So how can a social worker that's gone to university, studied, no real life
experience,
exploitation of life, none of that. So basically, they can come and lie as much as they want. They get up in the morning, they put their boots and socks on. Right? A social worker gets up in the morning, puts their shoes and socks on, and knows full well they're going to go out and tell as many lies as they can to destroy a family, disregarding any empathy for any child they're destroying the life of. Right? That is why I'm outside the Royal Courts of Justice today, because I want to raise the awareness to all you lovely people, all you potential parents that have never come across these people. And please, Lord, I hope you never come across these people, because these are the vermin of life. Right? They're worse than the sewer rats down below. I'm telling you now, they make my skin crawl anytime I hear there's a social worker present. Right? Because the guys are supposed to protect children. These guys don't protect children. What they do is they lie through their teeth no matter what. Right? And courts, family courts, barristers, judges, right? They know their lies are going on, but it's all about the fuel. Right, when I say it's about the fuel, it's about the fuel in the money in the pot. So basically, satanic ritual abuse, Masonic ritual abuse. This is what these guys are fueling through stealing people's children, right? There is no justice in the Royal Courts of Justice. There's no justice in the Supreme Court. There's no justice in the family court. When it comes to stealing children and they have to lie to do it, it is not acceptable. I'm all for if somebody's neglecting or abusing their child and somebody needs to step in to protect the child, then by all means come in and do it, right? But if there's never been no abuse to a child, how can you come out and steal a child and remove them from innocent, loving families? You're removing the right of a child to know their biological family. Come on, who in the street can accept that? You can't accept that really, because when you go home and look at your child and think, if someone come into your life to tell lies to steal your child, remove your child from your existence, that you may never ever see your child again. I'm going to go on to a little subject for you. Are you aware last year 178,000 children went missing in the UK? Right? That's 178,000 of the little people that we have at home. We've given their dinner after school. We enjoy picking them up from school. 178,000 children went missing last year. That's not one of your socks that go missing in the washing. That's not one of your gloves that drops out of your pocket. It's not a £10 note that falls out of your pocket. It's more valuable than that. A child is more valuable than your £10 note that's fell out of your pocket when you've gone to the bar. Right? This is happening at an alarming rate. The government are setting targets every year to remove more and more children up and down the UK. We haven't just got a problem with one borough in London. There's 32 boroughs in London alone that have all got a problem with forced adoption and the social services telling lies. Many parents all say, oh, my area is worse than the other, my area is worse than the other. They all say it. But you know what? I've got a message for the whole lot of you. It's happening everywhere in the UK. It's happening in Devon. It's happening in Cornwall. It's happening in Cardiff, Wales. It's happening up in Kendal, up in Cumbria. It's happening in Manchester, Blackpool. It's happening in Liverpool. It's happening in Newcastle. It's happening in Glasgow. It's happening in Dunbar, and it's happening absolutely everywhere. Guys, I wouldn't be out of this pavement today trying to raise the awareness to you lovely people for you to know what the threat is to your children. The threat is not just Joe Public on the street. People that work in behind the doors of places like this are the very threat to your children. The very threat to your children come from social services. They should be there protecting your children. They're child protective services. But no, they don't do their job. They're not protecting children. They're doing it for a profit. They're removing your children so they get their spend of their purse or their budgets each year.
Hi, Stacey.
It's £32,500 per child once a child is placed for adoption into long-term care. £32,500 for placing a child into long-term adoption. So that's removing the rights of a parent. So the local authority gets £32,500 to remove the child. Guys, that's not acceptable really. You're putting a price tag on the child's head, right? You must be shocked to hear me saying this, and you must be thinking this guy must be mad or whatever else. Go and do your homework on this. Right, we're going to talk about pro bonuses. A social worker's job was advertised on Indeed. Right, Indeed is one of the biggest recruitment agencies in the UK. Indeed, they're advertising for social workers, and they're getting a paid performance-related bonus. Paid performance-related bonus. Ask yourself something. Someone that works within children's services, why do they deserve a paid performance bonus for doing their job of protecting children? What's the incentive for them to get more money? Is it to remove more and more children? I think it is, because at the end of the day, each local authority have a set target by the government. They have a set target. So the MPs up in Westminster are setting targets every year to remove more and more children. Why is this? Is it the satanic ritual abuse that is supplying? How many kids are going missing in the UK? 178,000? That's not your one glove that you've just lost. That's not a £10 note that's fallen out of your pocket. It's an innocent child. Children do not disappear. I can't get my head around it, and sometimes I can't sleep at night. But you know what? I'm out here today to raise the awareness to all you lovely people. Some people might choose to ignore what I've got to say, but please God, I hope this never happens to you. This is the most painful thing. Children are being stolen from mothers at birth. Right, they're getting stolen from the breast where there's not been no abuse. Some have escaped domestic violence, some have escaped all sorts of stuff, but social services come into their life and the main aim is to remove the child. Come on, that should be the last aim. But they make out that's the last aim. But why do they gear all the way through their reports and stuff like that, like their main goal is to remove that child? Like they're playing football in the Premier League. That is what they're actually doing. They're the biggest bunch of scumbags. And people come to the Royal Courts of Justice because they want their cases reheard. How many times I've heard parents say the Royal Courts of Justice had thrown their case out. They agree with the family court, the corrupt family courts, right? All I've got to say, people, I pray that it never happens to any one of you when you become fathers or mothers, right? Because at the end of the day, for your children to be removed and they have to use lies to do it, that cannot be acceptable with one single being on this street. Guys, I've had enough of it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm raising the awareness. Because £32,000 per child, removing your child using lies, just so their local authority will give them the paid performance-related bonuses of removing your child. Children are innocent. You go to a school, you see children happy. That makes me smile because you know what? Children deserve to be happy. Right? Removing children from their loving family is not trying to keep them happy, because many children are suffering. Many children are self-harming within the care system. Many children are being abused in the care system. Please go on to Serpents Against Social Services, right? As a group on Facebook. It's a public group, right? Search it, Help Laura. That is a young child of 14 years of age, right? That's being abused in the care system. She's being abused. She's done live videos. She's been brave enough. She's got a phone and she's done live videos of what they're doing. They're keeping Laura in a caravan. They've been keeping her in a caravan. They moved her in the space of 2 weeks. They moved her I think about 4 times in the space of 2 weeks because of the publicity it was getting. Then she was gone, and I haven't heard nothing about her since. But I'll be honest with you guys. Go onto your Facebook, type in Help Laura if you think I'm out here and I'm telling lies. Type that in, see the abuse that is going on to that poor child. Come on, children are innocent. Children are what is our future. Because you know what, if they take your child now, when your child becomes a parent, the social services think straight away they've got a claim to that child. And then when that child has a child, they've got a claim to that child. So that becomes their property. Please guys, take some awareness from what I'm telling you today out this pavement. Take some awareness on the Facebook Live that I'm doing as well. Take some awareness, because to be honest with you, this can happen to anybody. I know it to happen to all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life. You could have come from, I don't know, you could be a soldier, you could be a police officer, you could be an ambulance worker, you could be anybody, right? Guys, this happens to anybody. It's not a fact that it will not happen to me, because believe you me, at some point in your life, you will know somebody that gets affected by your child being stolen. And you'll all be looking at the person thinking, oh, that person must not be telling me the truth. Well, I'm telling you today, 9 times out of 10, the parents are telling the truth, because the social workers are the ones that are doing the lying. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Well done, Bill. Well done.
Sweet, mate. How you doing, sir?